Hello. Well, let's send the council snow. They come. Welcome one more time to Talk Shop, your favorite program where we tell it like it is and let the chips fall where the bloody hell may. Welcome to that show again. And once again, let me say this, and you all know this, folks, that truth crashed to earth shall rise again. And all those who have been working on crashing the truth and doing all sorts of things to prevent people from knowing what the truth is, shall they forget it, no matter how long. And it's going to be sooner than later. The truth that has been crashed to earth shall rise again. And as we always say on this program, we always ask, what time is it? And you always respond, it is nation time. It's nation time. And I know people have been asking for their t-shirts. Lots of them, and I know we have been a little bit slow for a few things, but trust me, very soon, I believe starting next week, we'll make sure that your wishes are answered, coming very soon. But Talk Shop is talking about nation building, and as we always say, nation building is not a slogan, no. Nation building is an agenda. And we are not giving you a piece of the agenda because we are going to be starting to focus some full time on how we bring back our banks to build this nation. That's our starting point, how we bring back our banks. We'll be talking about that. But today, I want to talk about the same thing we always talk about, too. Why we are not building this nation the way we are supposed to. You know something? Let me quickly say this before I start the show today. We're a comedy show. Minsati and the show, no. Let me tell you something. You know, colonialism, and as in Nkrumah added, neocolonialism, were just tools that the Europeans used to get us, the people they colonized. Let me say Ghana. Let me just limit it to Ghana. Colonialism and neocolonialism, education, the religion, everything is to get us to be programmed for self-destruction. But you didn't make meeting you. We have been programmed for self-destruction. So we will end up destroying ourselves when we don't become aware of the program that they have programmed for us that we are actually adhering to. We have been programmed for self-destruction, and we must stop this. Folks, we must put a stop to this agenda to self-destruct. And it is coming, but we are heading towards it. Look, let me go back to the election that brought Nana Addo into power. I know there were many reasons. I don't want to go into all the reasons. I don't care about all the other intricate reasons. But there's one thing that I want to assure you, Ghanaians, and tell you that the primary thing that got Ghanaians to vote for MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo specifically is that he was seen as a man who knew law and order. He was seen say Akufo-Addo on. That was the image. Nana Addo Oba on Penkwasesem. So all this fight about how me not corrupt, I'm not corrupt, and whatever you do, you can't tie me to any corrupt thing. I'm not corrupt, and that thing helped him so much. So tell you, why not elect him? Why you pay when he's not looking for any money. All he wants to do is to leave a legacy, and that's what Otumfuo was telling him. At this stage, Master, all you have to do is to build a nation and leave a legacy, because that's all people want from you.
But my idea na dachi yakase o mampanyi bi ba Ghana na efe na ado dan kwafuado obeya ade
nipa nyina ni da so
nipa nyina Ghana fo se Ghana fo o mani da so.
And that's what Ghanaians were looking for, somebody who was going to leave a strong legacy. I'm not here to chop your money. And he crowned all of that during the swearing in when he uttered these words, I shall protect the public purse.
State coffers are not spoiled for the party that wins an election, but resources for the country's social and economic development. I shall protect the public purse. I shall protect the public purse. I shall protect the public purse.
Master, those words were ringing straight into the bones of all Ghanaians. Hey, this man, we trust him all. When you're corrupt, and he's assuring us that he will protect the public purse. Hey, that is great. And trust me, whatever other things they did, and there were plenty of things they did to be able to win the election, I'm telling you, one of the key things that helped Nana to win this election was that image of incorruptibility. Image, so he's self-made, he doesn't need anybody's money. That was the image. And above all, he was going to be the one who would protect the public purse. And I did this program some time ago. Mahama also went into opposition for 8 years. And when we were under the MPP, we all realized that this public purse, it has not been protected. It seems the public purse is being looted.
People say that politicians steal from the public purse. The Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government did not steal from the public purse. They stole the purse.
That was not just the general impression. That was what was happening. That this protection of the public purse, maybe I thought some more, whatever they say, but the public purse is being looted. So on those grounds too, Mahama, who had been in opposition, His Excellency the President, John Mahama, who had been in opposition for 8 years, he also came up with this genius of a thinking, saying that if you return us into power, we will come and recover all the loot.
We will launch an Operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared.
So, folks, I want you to think about two things. So, one thing is the public purse, and the whole. Nana came and he said, I am protecting this public purse.
I shall protect the public purse.
The public purse, however, was looted left, right, and center, and totally scattered.
The Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government did not steal from the public purse. They stole the purse.
And John Mahama said, if you guys will try me again, if you will bring me back, guess what? All the loot from that same public purse, all the loot that has been scattered from the public purse, trust me, if you bring me back, I'll come and retrieve all the loot.
We will launch an Operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared.
So Ghanaians said, actually, sure. Okay, for whatever reason, we kicked him out, blah, blah, blah. Now we know that the public purse has been looted. What do? Let's bring him back. All I'm saying is this. The strength for the NDC coming back was on the back of all Ghanaians desiring that Mahama has been in opposition, he has tasted the position, and he knows what he went through. And when he says he's coming back, but this time when he comes back, he will make sure that the public purse that was looted will retrieve all that loot. Charlie, let's give him a chance. So that is why Mahama is back in power. It was on the back, he's coming to retrieve the loot. That's why last week I said something like, if you're a Ghanaian, and I've heard many Ghanaians talk loosely, what loot? We'll go to court. So much loose talk. Look, I understand that things must be done according to the law, and you'll be at yes, sir. But when all that loose talk that nobody can come and talk about anybody loose, and we will take you to court, and that one I say is all loose talk. At the end of the day, I think anything that will get to the court will be backed by legal evidence. As I said, in courtroom there, that's all you need. It's not what you know, it's not what you say, it's what you can prove. So let's see whether at the end of the day, all this cannot be proved. But going back, all I'm saying is that on the back of promising to return the loot to Ghana where it belongs, that's one of the reasons Mahama won. And overall, folks, the thing is this: people are really hoping that this time around, Mahama, the government, gets it right. Because we go through the mill, we had the assurances, I'm not corruptible. He even assured that if you want money, I'm talking about Nana Akufo-Addo, ex-president, if those who want money should not come and serve in my government, because the government is not a place for amassing wealth and making money.
I've said it, and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
All these things, we had it, we believed it, and we put our hope in it. So if Mahama has come, and Mahama is also saying, okay, I'm back to the public purse now. The public purse was looted, so I am coming to recover all the loot.
We shall operationalize the Operation Recover All the Loot and investigate persons we believe have engaged in misappropriation of public property and pursue them to recover such property.
We believe it, and we are hoping that it is true, and we are rooting for him to recover the loot. So anybody who is not rooting for the loot to be recovered, nobody who doesn't want Ghana to gain back all it has lost through looting, please step aside, because nothing is going to stop this. Yeah, folks, nothing. We're tired. Look, all we need now in Ghana, first of all, is to understand that we have been programmed to self-destruct unless we take charge and we start thinking differently with different values. So if Mahama says he's going to reset the country, it means we should start thinking differently and with more different values. Otherwise than that, the only value we know now, the only value we know that is popular is loot. Kopebinedi. Not only in government, though, even if you have your own small company and you're working with people, be very careful, because you'll be surprised that many of them are plotting to loot you, to loot the company. I hear something sad to say, but it has become an inherent part of Ghanaians. Whenever there's an opportunity that you can loot. Well, maybe looting is not the big word for small offices, but we call it pilfering in the small office. But I'm saying that it has become our nature, and when we don't start understanding that this looting, this pilfering must stop, we are programming ourselves to self-destruct. What is this I hear about this ECG problem? Can you imagine how many containers of equipment and supplies that the ECG has ordered? Over 2,000 containers of appliances, of equipment ordered into this country with money from the purse. 1,300 of the containers are missing, together with all the equipment that is in the Ayira.
A list of containers that ECG has, as containers they have at the port, to be 2,491. That was the list they gave us, 2,491. However, when we visited the port and counted the ECG containers there, we got 1,134. 2,491 is the list we were given. We got 1,134, leaving out about 1,328 containers that could not be accounted for.
Massa. So I'm saying, yeah, you'll be talking about small pilfering in the offices in the management. Then it goes on to the national scale, where under the watch of the government and the people serving it under the watch of the port, whoever, you import 2,000 containers of electrical equipment. 1,300 Naira vanished. We cannot find 1,300. So it doesn't it baffle you? You know, how does anyone manage even to steal over 1,300 containers from the port? Who's watching? And folks, when we're talking about this level of steal and robbery, and somebody says, no, because it happened under the MPP, so we will fight against the idea to. What is that? What sense does it make? Haven't we gone past this idea? I mean, if the looting is done by NDC, yes, they should be held accountable and they should be made to feel the full rigors of the law. Whatever it takes. If it's done by MPP, yes. So what is this thing that now that people are now zoning in, all of a sudden they will take it to court and all constitutional issues have just emerged? Yes, should be you. Because look, folks, take this from me. You know, you see how sometimes the World Bank has come in. Now I'm President Abeka Sana. The World Bank is a part of this country. We'll make sure that blah blah blah. No more. Then the IMF will come in, and the IMF president visited the Excellency, and they talked about things. And the IMF has praised for what Mahama is doing, and the IMF this and that. And when Kufuor's time, Massa. You check chronologically. Go on Googles and check what the praises that the IMF had for Kufuor. The praises that possibly had for Mills. What praises did they not give to Akufo-Addo? As a matter of fact, they even gave him some awards for his exemplary leadership. The praises that they have for Mahama today. The praises, check all across Africa, how they praise them, and it's like, oh, we are here. If you need us, we are here. We are what's that joke of a word? Developing partners. And then we tell my sister, developing partner? You know what a partner is? When you are an obvious subordinate under somebody who's dominating you, and that person tells you, oh, don't worry, you're not a subordinate, we are partners. Now, so, what dream engagement is where JD, oh, our developing partners. No, they are not our partners, folks. They are there to make sure that they are monitoring our economic performance and to make sure that it doesn't go above a certain level. Why? Because if it goes above a certain level, we will start having the real independence and standing on our feet. And they don't like that. Let me tell you, if there's anybody that can convince me today or tomorrow that the aims and objectives of the World Bank and the IMF and the Bretton Woods are just supposed to help Africa so that Africa can develop and be at par with the world economies, and they believe it, then let me tell you, you are one of the most, not the most though, you are the most gullible person that has ever lived. You believe them? Bretton Woods, IMF, Europe Bank, oh, they want, oh, Ghana, let's help. And then they praise your leaders. No! Their interest is to constantly monitor you to make sure you're not going above a certain threshold. That's why they give you loans. And let me add, loans you can't pay. How many times have you not been to the IMF for loans? 17 times. Master, even as a parent, if any of my children is doing something and it's not going on well, and they have to come and, if you will, check with me as to what they are doing, and I give them assistance, and they come to me 17 times for the same thing, I'll tell my child, why? There's something you're not doing well. 17 times, in the mouth. Every time you come, I give it to you. And 17 times, no, you're not doing something well. And then my son or daughter will understand that, yeah, it is not normal to go to the IMF, to go to my daddy 17 times for the same thing. Haven't you realized by now? Then we come and then we talk all the we are an independent country, young IMF.
We are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. So let's think of us as who we are, a proud, strong people, the shining star of Africa, and we have the capacity to do what we want to do.
We won't go there, big. Then we end up back at them. They are making sure that they give us just enough. Not only that too, they give us conditions. Of course, if you are going for money from anybody, if you're coming from a loan from me, of course I'll give you conditions. And I'm not against them saying they have their conditions. They should have their conditions. But if you are not smart enough and you go for the loan, and they give you conditions that you yourself, you can't meet. What does that say? They're trying to keep you broke. Broke, just as if you're getting a relief, no, then you realize that, no, I have to go for more. See, I cost 17 times. 18th in the follow. Folks, all I am saying is this. We in Ghana here, I won't talk about the world of Africa anymore. We in Ghana here, all we need is leader or leadership that has values. If you have a leadership that has values, there is no way on earth that the government will import over 2,000 containers of electrical equipment. And they come to the port, I think 1,100 and some amount has arrived. And how many is missing? 1,300?
2,491 is the list we were given. We got 1,134, leaving out about 1,328 containers that could not be accounted for.
This happens because the leadership has no values. That's why people within it can organize and have this amount of loot take place. Right before the what happened? What happened when the ship arrives to the Ghana port? What do they go through? How is it possible that 1,300 containers of ECG can get missing? And they are tracing, the stories are still unraveling. There's a Ghanaian behind it, and it's in cahoots with some Chinese, and this and that and that.
We followed that intel and got to this particular company located in Shire Hills. And this particular warehouse, where the quantity you see here are from so many containers that we have been looking for all this while. We have found these tables here, which was actually sold to them with the connivance of some Ghanaians that we are gathering intelligence to arrest. But so far, on arrival here, we have been able to pick 8 Chinese suspects and then 1 Ghanaian, who is a manager.
The bottom line is that the Ghanaian is behind it because he is part of the program to self-destruct. We talk about all the galamsey and this and that and how the Chinese are in our rivers and they're using their chamfai, whatever equipment to destroy our water and blah, 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 blah. Who gives them the license to go there? Ghanaians. Who assets them? Who is in the background? They're Ghanaians. So I'm telling you, folks, this colonial thing, but as part of the program, to which the key thing was make us feel inferior and that we should depend on those who are superior, has programmed us to self-destruct. And so I'm praying that Mahama, this reset thing, you are going to take it very serious. Folks, let me tell you this. If, and it's a big if, please, it's a big if this government fails, look at it, let me put it in perspective. Nanado assured us that he was going to protect the public purse, and we're happy. We were so delighted. We said, yes, we need somebody to protect the public purse. However, the purse was looted. And Mahama, who had been in opposition, who had been overthrown, promised that when you bring me back, and I will really protect the public purse because everything that has been looted, I'll recover. And he is in power. Now think, if he should also fail, if the NDC is not able to recover the loot, please, I'm hopeful, and I have all my hope that the loot will be recovered. That's why I say it's if, and it's a big F, big IF. If Mahama is not able to recover the loot, then what? Ask yourself. Then what? You know how people have always been saying this, all the parties are the same, all the parties are the same, then. This will finally seal that belief, whether it's right or wrong, but that belief system say, if Mahama should fail and the NDC does not recover the loot, that is what is going to be on the minds of organists. But we told you, well, you had hope that they can recover the loot. They are all part of it. They all loot. Even some of them who are there now, they want to loot. That will be the argument, folks. That will be the argument. The sad story, in Ghana, our minds are so warped that we are always hoping that one party fails. Because when that party fails and the government messes up, then we'll switch to the other party. And when that party is also in power, those who support it, and those who don't want it also hope that they fail. Why? So that then the power switch back here. So at the end of the day in Ghana, we are guided by the pursuit and the desire for power, and not the success of a nation developing. But let me tell you the bad news from my analytics. You know, sometimes I do analytics, and they say it's not based on any data or anything. It's just the hunch that I feel. This is just a hunch. And I'm saying this. Folks, the bad news is this, that if the NDC fails, it's not an automatic thing. So now NDC is gone, so now FP2 to come back home. This time, take my word, and mark it where mark it where it will not be erased. I'm saying this. If, after all of this, the NDC should fail, no loot is recovered, and now the whole agenda fizzles out, and they also become sucked into this pomposity and arrogance, trust me, there won't be a time, actually, this party fails, so it's going to the next party. That chance will never come again in Ghana. Because I'm saying it here, and mark it on the wall, and mark the date. If, and I hope that never happens, folks. It's a big if. But if the NDC should fail, there's not going to be another election. There's going to be a violent takeover. That's all I say. What is a violent takeover? The officer say you be on there for arguing. If the NDC should mess up, and I hope not. Please, I hope not. I trust, Mahama, that your 8 years of opposition has taught you a lot And so you have come back with a lot of fire and hopefully desire to do the right thing. Nana, Vice, I also respect you a lot, and I know that once you're there, the right thing will be focused on. That's why I'm saying it's a big if. If for any reason, that right reason and the focus and the direction is missed by you, MPP, I'm sorry, there will be another election, so they say, oh, they have gone. Now let us come back. I've had the threats already. Oh, it's not long, 2028 will come. We'll see. Trust me, if by the time we get to 2028, and I'm saying this today, if, because I know bloggers and I know journalists and I know how things can be twisted like there's no tomorrow. If by 2028 we haven't recovered the loot and the structures have not been in place, and there's no semblance that to say that Ghana is on the right path, we are coming back up. Trust me, there will not be a 2028 election. There's going to be a very, very, very violent takeover. But I'm saying no. I'm expecting that by 2028 the loot has been recovered. And more importantly, avenues for the looting are blocked. Because Ghana for your swording, if you don't block the avenues, they will loot again. So it's not just a matter of recovering the loot, which I'm hoping and betting that by 2028 we have recovered the loot. And more importantly, all the avenues for the looting have been sealed. Avenues, there are so many avenues. There are so many avenues. And let me say this, even right now that Mahama has come and he's going to reset and he wants to set the nation straight, even though he has come with all that vim and vigor, I can bet you that there are some people in the NDC, maybe not exactly in the government, but I'm telling you, who might be reckoning, okay, Mahama is doing this, is doing that. What about other loops that we can take advantage of? That is the Ghanaian for you, man. That is the Ghanaian for you. So we also have to find ways and means of making money. The Spanish will say no más of the demon guy, but no more. So Mahama, please focus on recovering the loot and focus on closing all the loopholes for the loot. I'm telling you, Ghana, if we can do this, if we can focus on recovering the loot, if we can focus on closing the loot, if we can focus on re-engineering the things that we export, trust me, we will not have to go to the IMF for the petty cash. But the money we borrow from IMF, even if you don't take time, one Nigerian man can possibly pay for us. Also, I say different. That's a story for another day. Because the money that is floating around there, you can't understand what is going on. But let's stick to Ghana. Massa, 3 billion that we go and borrow from IMF. How? This man who had a party recently, I'm going to find some already. Very focused on it. Me find some mambio. Because going for 3 billion, it's not something that we can generate. We have gold that we are sitting on that has a value of over $19 trillion. Ghana for the gold and quiet is in the neighborhood of $19 trillion. Yet so the manganese, the lithium, it is so much more than anything that the IMF can give Ghana. But we are sitting on it, giving it away small to people, and then going to beg them for the petty cash. We are sad though. So sometimes people like us, when we speak, and I read a comment when I at some point I said, I apologize if I've gone overboard. The man said, oh please, KSM, don't apologize, go overboard. We need to hear that. We are being silly. We are being silly. We have programmed ourselves to self-destruct and we don't even know. How can you have gold that's worth over $19 trillion, and then you go and beg for 3 million? Because in your country, you cannot organize things so well and prioritize things. We don't have any priorities. That's why I say all Ghana leads now is a leader who understands and has a sense of values. That's all we need. A leader who can understand that we are sitting on all the things that we are begging for. You will be. It just needs thinking. And we are so afraid to think. We always want the things that are already made. Package way. This is it. We are afraid to think. But I'm daring you, man. If Ghanaians sat down and think, oh man, this country under the right direction, under the right leadership, with the correct values, Ghana can be back on its feet like there's no other country within the next 10 years or less. This country. You cannot write Ghana off. Because even in spite of all the looting, the raping, the bad governance, see it. In spite of all of that, we still have somewhere to stand, and we can stand with pride. So what if we change our priorities and our values, and we just develop this thinking that, Charlie, whatever happens, this is one nation, one country with one destiny. So if there's a leader in charge, let us back this leader and raise this country. And you and I are the ones who are going to benefit. You know? We don't have priorities. How can we have a country and we say this is a developing country and we don't even have fire tenders? See how markets have been burning? I see Kumasi, I see what the place here, Cantamanto, here the fires burning. We don't have fire tenders. And here's the thing, folks, even if we have the fire tenders, we don't have the laws and regulations and the order. People cannot just wire things by heart. Go to the markets. We'll be in the wiring. You have a let me call my electrician. Then they come and do their own wiring and put in fuse. They don't meet any standards. They are all done wrongly everywhere. Everybody has their own electrician. Why won't the place not burn down? This is what we're talking about, and I said I'm going to do a whole show on law and order. And because we lack it, everything comes under law and order. All the fires in the markets. Sadly, if everything cries right and they are wiring right and all the things are being done to protect the fire cry, when they come cry, we don't have the fire tenders. The last time a new fire tender saw Ghana was in 2014.
As we speak, when I went to the Ministry of Interior, I realized that the newest tender that we have was procured in 2014. That's more than 10 years. You and I know the way they run. In about 6-7 years, they become obsolete. Yet the newest tender we have is more than 10 years old. Why? For the whole 10 years as a country, we have not bought even a single fire tender. So sometimes we all blame the fire officers for nothing, because they are using obsolete equipment. So sometimes the frustration, they go through so much frustration themselves.
And the state of the fire service is deplorable. They don't have fire tenders. Now we are building high rises. I think our tallest fire tender can go to like a 4th floor. Most of the same, what's the 18 floors and 19 floors? Fire tender, God forbid you be here, your tender can go to the 4th floor. No, everything is wrong because number one, law and order is not working. Number two, we are allowing the colonial thinking to disrupt our growth and progress. And up to date, we still do not know and we still are not aware that the Western blocs, the Bretton Woods, the IMF, they are not here because they want to help you to progress. They want to keep you at a certain level. So until we start thinking, how do we rise above this? It's all strategy. I say, we go back into our own indoors and talk about this. Folks, when we do that, and we will, this nation will rise again. Charlie, the guys will say, They have done everything that they can to push this country down with our support. I won't say they will. They have done it with our support and connivance. So yes, we are actively involved all the way up to leadership. You and I are involved in helping them to undermine us and in helping them to program us to self-destruct. But anything that some of us are here, no, we are going to start our word, and many of you are out there who will join this crusade to liberate the mental slavery. And as we always say, this country shall rise again.